Welcome to the show. Let's begin, as always, with the latest of COVID-19. Whoa. Whoa. The deaths here in the state of Texas, we're over 40,000. Let's move closer. Let's go slow. Oasis County, 36,546. 673 deaths. Total cases, 2.53. Now recovered. And 40,297. 27.3 million cases total. Recovered, none. And 471K deaths. 107 million plus 30K. 304K. 30 million. 60 million recovered. Plus, and 2.35 million of deaths plus 8,021. Wow, 40,000 deaths. I mean, imagine we get up to 50,000 deaths. California. California is not doing a very, very good job here. They'd rather do whatever it takes. So for California, we're at 1.15 plus 3175, 18,360 plus 225. That makes it now up to 585 deaths. So it's 18,585 deaths, which is the total. California's not doing any crap about it, but letting it happen. But for us, we need to make sure that all protocols, just earlier this evening, I went to Rock City Church, and there was no social distancing. Only two people wearing masks, including myself. There was only one person. So you need to get your shit straight. And also, there was no social distancing. I mean, the mask thing, I understand Governor got a rule on. It made an exception. That's when it now understood. But the thing you have to remember here is that, yes, what we need to do is make sure that we're following safety protocols. But no one was social distancing. I just wanted to inform one of the security people wearing the earpieces that there was no social that no one was being social distance. That's what I wanted to do, but I decided to let it go because I'm observant. Because if you're observing, you don't intervene unless it's an emergency or something really important. That's what I learned from Super Nanny, Joe Frost. If you're observing, you don't intervene. So again, what comes down to this? I've always said this before during the show, and I will say it again. You need to make sure that you are wearing masks, and they have to be at the bridge of the nose, not below, not here. Plus, also social distancing, 6 feet or whatever, you need those social distancing alarms. Those always help whenever you're setting off a beep. They think it's a pager or a cell phone. It's not. It's the social distancing alarm warning you to stay 6 feet. Kind of like an alarm for your brain. Wash your hands often, 20 seconds. Germs get hide in your hands. You can touch everything you touch with your eyes, nose, and mouth. And don't be touching your masks and masks help. They stop the spread of the virus by 18%. Not 18%. By 80%. According to the doctors. I'm not a doctor myself, but that's what I heard from the media. And they do everything in their power to make sure that everyone is safe. So what really needs to happen here is that, and also if you have a medical condition or under 10 years old, you need to don't be wearing those masks. The only time you cannot wear a mask is for church purposes only. And if you're eating, then you cannot wear a mask. If you're not eating, then put the mask on. It is not that simple. It's not rocket science. Okay. Break time here. Coming up. A Great Portland IC student was arrested for alleged animal abuse in the viral video. We'll give you the very latest, especially. We'll also give you the very latest on the. We'll also give you the very latest on the Baja the cat. Because as you know, this guy was arrested. We'll give you the very latest of what's happened. His name. What was his intention of abusing the animal? If he was in sports, what could have happened? We'll give you the very latest. We'll tell you what happened, my thoughts on animal abuse, and more topics when we return. Now the very latest on the animal abuse that happened. That happened last night. Do you see this team from Gregory Portland ISD was arrested in the animal abuse case, but the cat's name was Baja. And here's the very latest. This kid is out of jail. Here's the very latest from Channel 6.
On the cat in that viral video.
Portland Police Chief passed along some good news. The cat that was seen being thrown to the ground is going to be okay. Chief Mark Corey says the cat, whose name is Baja, was checked out at Portland Animal Services and has no injuries. They were able to trap the cat in the Bayview area. He was checked out Tuesday night and appeared to be all good. Baja has since been reunited with his owner.
Checked out fine, and luckily we're very pleased, and all the community who showed a large amount of concern, hopefully they'll be pleased as well that the cat is okay after that the vicious treatment that it actually received.
According to an online database, Goldsby has bonded out of jail after it was set at $20,000. Reporting in Portland, Ron Hammy, Chris 6 News.
Well, that was odd. So, why did the police, if the actual video showing him actually abusing that animal, they would have decided to look at the video first. Like, the animal's gonna be okay. I mean, what if he was brain damaged? If that was brain damage, if the cat had brain damage during that thing, then that would be a serious problem. But if you spot animal abuse happening, you need to call you need to find an animal abuse hotline. And some states could allow that to happen. But what if he was on a sports team while he was in jail? If that person that abused the animal was on a sports team, they would have go soft on him and say, hey, and say, look, we need to look at this case, and if they look at it and decide, look, we need to look, what we need to do is take action. They always take action. Paperwork has to be finalized, and the cat said to be okay, but the cat was lucky. Very lucky. Alright, coming up. It's cold. It's going to be some colder weather. We're going to tell you how to prepare for the winter weather expected to blast here in Texas. Stay with us. But folks, it's going to be cold. Really cold. Look, freezing rain, sleet, and hail. That's precipitation. That's the scientific precipitation. But how can you prepare for the winter expected to blast through the coastal Spanish of those here? Well, basically the first thing you should do is make sure to have space heaters and turn your heater up way high. And if you don't know what else can happen, my buddy Bill Churchwell can give you the very latest.
Temperatures and the potential for freezing rain and sleet on the way. City Manager Peter Zanoni tells me leaders are staying in close contact with the experts at the National Weather Service right here in Corpus Christi. Folks like meteorologist Melissa Huffman.
So the combination of increasing precipitation chances and these freezing temperatures is going to open up the window for some winter weather for us. So right now, that window looks to be Sunday and Monday.
While many residents are focused on the possibility of the S word, weather experts say the freezing temperatures should have people preparing for the potential of a hard freeze, something we really haven't experienced in about 10 years. In fact, we had to go way back into our archive to find this video from February of 2011. Remember when ice forced several roadways and overpasses to shut down? It was something that even had these folks ditching their vehicles and hiking across the JFK Causeway just to get to the island. Huffman says it is never too early for folks to plan ahead.
We like to tell people to think about the 4 Ps when they're preparing for winter weather. So we like to tell them to think about people, so family. Are grandma and grandpa ready for an extended period of cold weather? Do they have the clothes, coats, all that kind of good stuff? We also like to tell people to think about their pets.
And when it comes to plants, be sure to cover them. Experts say to try and stay away from tarps and plastic because they could actually damage your vegetation. Instead, South Texas gardener Gabriel Vega says there are safer alternatives.
Sheets, heavy curtains, old drapes, heavy bedspreads.
And make sure the coverings touch the ground, like a tent.
You just cut it with a razor knife.
Don't forget to protect those outdoor pipes.
Worst case scenario, take some rags and some tape, wrap it around the pipe.
Master plumber Brian Brandon of Nature's Plumbing giving us a demonstration of a simple way you can do just that. He says insulation will be your #1 defense against the bitter temperatures.
Remember to remove your hose, turn off your sprinklers, and if it's going to get really cold, you can even run your faucets at just a slight drip.
Bill Churchwell, 3 News.
Wow. And what else can you do?
Hey, here's one tip to check it.
So what else can you do? You need to plan your travel and check the latest forecast and avoid winter storms whenever possible. Fully check and winterize your vehicle before starting your travel. Make sure your car battery has enough power. Let someone know your timetable and your priority and alternate travel routes. Keep your gas tank near full to prevent ice from foaming in the fuel lines. If you encounter sleet and freezing rain, drive extremely cautiously. Even 4-wheel drive vehicles have difficulty on icy roads. Try to avoid overpasses and bridges at all possible. If you're planning to travel to an area which expects significant winter storms, carry a winter storm survival kit, including blankets, flashlight, high-calorie snack foods, sand, or cat litter, tow rope, booster cables, and water container. Make sure your cell phone is fully charged. What about for dressing? Well, you need to wear loose-fit clothing, lightweight clothing in several layers. Outer garments should be tightly woven and water-repellent. Always wear a hat. Wear gloves, mittens, and try to stay dry. Now preparing your home. The primary concerns are the potential loss of power and the telephone service. What you've got, if winter conditions last for more than a day, then a shortage of supplies may also be a concern. Just have extra food and water, high energy food such as dried fruit, nuts, and granola bars, and food requiring no cooking or refrigeration. Have a light flashlight and extra batteries available. Don't use candles if the electricity goes out, since these can become a fire hazard. Use a battery-powered radio and portable radio for receiving emergency information. If you have a fireplace or a wood stove, make sure you have a good supply of firewood. Learn to use any emergency heating source to prevent a fire. Keep extra medicine, baby items, first aid supplies on hand. Close off unneeded rooms, and place towels or rags and cracks under the doors. Very good, important stuff. And as you just saw, if you're going to the island, try hiking. But there are things you really need to prepare for. If you don't prepare for this, well, how do you also prepare for freezing rain coming? You need to also pay attention for the weather updates, prescription, fully charge your phone. And the health risk of this is food poisoning, carbon monoxide poisoning, heart problems, muscle pain, exposure to cold. And during this, you need to prescribe emergency vitamins or acid. Just dress warmly. Avoid going out alone if possible. If you're outside, if you're outside, you can on early warning signs of hypothermia or frostbite. Don't hesitate to speak to your pharmacist as soon as the forecast calls for extreme weather if you require healthcare follow-up. So if you're not prepared for this, I suggest you do it right now. And get those space heaters. Make sure get those space heaters. And if your power goes out, make sure you get generators. Make sure you get the generators. As you see, it's going to cost like $300, $36. The one is $36 from Wish. But if it comes, if you don't get it by the time, then what's really going to happen here is that, if it's not going to happen, it's going to happen because you're going to be without power and line's going to happen. Also, if you're going to do deliveries during this time, what you need to understand is that, well, yes, if you're going to order delivery from any restaurant, these delivery drivers have to abide by the same rules. Look, we all have to be safe. During this pandemic and during all this time, we all have to be safe. And these tips, I'm trying to help you. That's what the show's about, trying to help. And if you're not going to take the help, well, that's your choice. And you can try to pick up these generators today. I mean, who would want to spend $300? I would spend $36 from Wish. It's a handheld to hand crank generator, disaster emergency portable generator, mobile computer charger. It's just portable. You can just use it for like anything. You can just use it to charge your phone. But you gotta crank it. I really think you should get it if you need to get your phone charged. I think you would get it. $36.72 only at Wish.com. But if you're going to go for the expensive one, watch your budget. Or just go to the Generator Superstore Supercenter Corpus Christi if you live in the Corpus Christi area. Just figure out what needs to be best. And try to take your best. When we come back, the very latest on the Trump impeachment trial. You'll want to stay here. Welcome back. If you missed the impeachment trial, here's some key points you know of CNN. Mike Pence was held up on the Senate floor. Was with attackers right outside. The House Speaker Nancy Pelosi was evacuated entirely. Officer Eugene Gorham may have missed Rodney's wife. Chuck Schumer's security detail had a run assault from rioters. One rioter is carrying a stun gun. GOP reaction to the videos. What happens next? Impeachment managers continue to make their case against Trump tomorrow. The trial resumes at noon. They had to give up 16 hours spread over 2 days to convince that Trump is responsible for the daily Capitol riot. And after tomorrow, we will figure out what happens if Trump is responsible. That according to that, and according to the rules, he can no longer apply to be president. After seeing the video, he speaks to the officer who protected from the mob. And there's a lot of other things I'm not going to cover on that, but the trial is done for 1 day. It will resume tomorrow. And if you missed it, make sure you tune in. And tune in to Give Me a Break Friday for the very latest on the impeachment trial. Let's see, do we have time for... I think we have time for one more topic. What can we talk about? Oh yeah. We haven't done how to prepare for truancy court. Because you really, if you're up for truancy... Because if you're being summoned for a judge for truancy hearing, what you need to do is follow these 9 pages. Here's an example from a school in Pennsylvania. Children between the ages of 8 and 17 must attend school. It means the child must go to a regular public school, charter school, licensed private. The parent has to make sure that the child attends school. Pennsylvania does not specify the truancy. However, the Pennsylvania Department of Education says truancy is any excuse asked from the school. How do you get in child? Well, if you receive a truancy notice, you should contact the school as soon as you receive the note. And the child, the parent, the guardian has to appear at the truancy hearings. It must be about that. And there's also school district officials. The judge will be there. You and the parent. The parent and your child, you as a parent and the child will be there. You have school district officials that will be there. And these are 9 pages. And if you want more information about truancy laws, you can visit your local truancy law website. And after that, they're going to give remedial orders. If your policy becomes bullying, you'll speak to the case manager every day, and they will order you to stay in school every day. If you're sick, that's when you go home. Just remember, truancy is a very serious crime. Since the pandemic, it's gone up. There's been, and since the pandemic, no truancy laws have been changed. That's why I'm here to help you to make sure it doesn't happen. If you're one of those people that are in need of some help, but listen, I'm willing to help you. I'm going to give you advice. Like, I'm going to come up with a plan to, get you back in school. So that we can get the best education we can get. Coming up on Give Me Break Friday, more on the Donald Trump impeachment trial and why kids hate the school lunch since the pandemic. Listen, those school lunches make a lot more money than we do. That's Friday. Then on Give Me Break Saturday, Valentine's Day is coming up. We're going to give you the very latest. That's on Friday. Then on Give Me Break Saturday, the Valentine's Day special Give Me a Break. A 2-part series. That's Saturday and Sunday. So look for those. That's all for this edition. Give Me a Break Wednesday. We'll see you again for Give Me a Break Friday night. Have a good night, everyone. Follow us here at YouTube. Take care of yourself and each other. Good night.